Vitaiche ve Irlandia, Tutai William. Vitim to Godnew, Rozmevame ze Maciek Neumann-Kochańskim. Maciek jest Przeszem, Gorey.PL Polish Cultural Association. I Fietnie został ogłoszony przez emblem Teraz Polska I Polska ambasada laureatem nagrody wybitny Polak z Irlandii 2019 w dziedzinie kultury. We're joined this week for an interview by Maciek Neumann-Kochański. Maciek is the chairman of Gorey.PL Polish Cultural Association, and last April was announced as this year's winner of the Outstanding Pole in Ireland 2019 award from the Polish Promotional Emblem Foundation and the Polish Embassy in the field of culture. Maćku, dziękuję za poświęcenie czasu na rozmowę z Irlandia tego wieczoru.
Dziękuję.
Maciek, thank you for taking the time to speak with Irlandia this evening. Firstly, could you tell us a little about yourself? Whereabouts in Poland are you from, and how long have you been living in Ireland?
Well, I was born in Warsaw in 1974. I grew up in Mokotów, which is my favorite part of Warsaw. It's nice, it's very close to the King's Gardens and surrounded by other gardens around, which is quite rare in the city. We moved with my girlfriend at the time, Kasia, to Ireland in 2005 to Galway. We just had a friend who was there, and he said, after me complaining a lot over the Skype to him about the wages, my boss, and the job situation in Poland, he just said, listen, jump into the plane. Why don't you just move into Ireland? We have a spare room. I'm going to talk to my housemates, because he was sharing an accommodation. And I said, yeah, why not? Let's try. So after a year working there in Galway, working me and Kasia for the company that was providing an accommodation for asylum seekers for the Department of Justice. And the company asked us to work for them in various centers on the East Coast. Because we had no children at the time and we were basically free to go anywhere, we decided, yes, why not? Let's try it. So, yeah, we end up in Ratrum, in New Ross, then we were renting in Aughrim before we finally decided to settle in Gorey in 2009.
Very good. So you found your way to the best county in Ireland then, Wexford.
To the best town in the best county, Gorey.
I understand you were one of the founders of Gorey.PL Polish Cultural Association in 2015, which your colleague Ola Rike, the association spokesperson, told our listeners about in April.
Well, it wasn't my initiative, to be honest. As I remember, Gorey Library was informed by someone, I even don't know where they get this information from, about the Polska Era Festival initiative. And at the time, Kasia Panther was working there, and she spread the word together with Żaneta Czernychowska. So there actually sparked this idea. And yes, well, even I don't exactly remember how I end up there and how I joined the group of people to organize one event, small exhibition about Poland for this Polska Era Festival in 2015. We even didn't know what Polska Era Festival is at the time, as we were asked to organize this just 2 weeks before. I have to say it was a great success in its small scale. But we were in such an enthusiastic, euphoric mood that we started conversation that maybe we can do something more with this positive energy we created, and maybe we should continue and go forward. And this is how we end up.
And I understand that your wife Kasia is also heavily involved with the association.
I have to say that Kasia is one of the best organizers I ever met, with outstanding attention to details. Kasia always aimed to perfection, and without her support, I will not be able to run this association. There is no chance. Unfortunately, when the husband and wife are involved in such an organization, they have no time for their own life and their own family, and we paid a big price for it. So I have to say that this is the reason why a few months ago I asked Kasia to step back a little bit, and I had to reduce my own involvement as well. And the association was taking over our lives completely.
In April, you were announced as the recipient of the Outstanding Pole in Ireland award in the field of culture. That must have been a particular honour. Would you like to tell our listeners about it? And don't be modest.
It was, and it still is, an amazing honor for me, and it's very excited, and I'm very proud. My parents are very proud. Again, I need to highlight that this award was actually awarded to all the members of Polish Cultural Association, because simply without them, there will be no award. And this is a big, big respect and big thank you to Ola, Ania, Karolina, Sylwia, both Kasias, Karol and Piotr. Thank you very much, guys.
Well, congratulations from Hello Irlandia on that award as well. I know that since we spoke with Ola, Gorey.PL have organised a number of events, starting with the conclusion of the 400 Reasons to Love Gorey campaign, which she had told us about the planning for. Would you like to update our listeners on how that event worked out? It took place in conjunction with the Polska Era Festival, I understand.
Yes, it took place as a part of the Polska Era. However, we actually create that mark to create a bigger event with it. But we started during St. Patrick's Parade, where we announced this initiative. And yeah, that was like, I was very proud, and I am very proud, and I know it was a great initiative. We were able to involve hundreds of people from Gorey. I know that the hashtags, the reasons to love Gorey, were collected in many different places in town. And it was a great success. But the little problem we have is that the sign was taken down by Gorey Tidy Town without any arrangement with us or Gorey Town. And the sign is now in a storage, and we are looking for alternative wall to put it back since.
I know from having personally seen it, it was a particularly beautiful mural and wall, so I wish you every success with that indeed. So turning to something I was really interested in personally, but unfortunately missed, although I had a good excuse as I was actually visiting Poland at the time, the Złombol event, which was the journey of old yellow Dublin brand cars from Poland to Ireland as part of a charity event.
Złombol is an amazing event. It's actually over 450 teams in a different cars set off from Poland to Ireland to Wicklow Mountains in the cars that are from the Cold War era, or their story began at the time, because some cars were made in 90s. However, they were designed in Cold War era, like in 80s or even 70s. This was already the 13th lucky edition of this rally, and this time Ireland was the destination. Not all of 450 cars reached Ireland, but all contributed to raising of a huge sum of around 1 million Polish zlotys, which is around 250,000 euro, for 526 childcare homes in Poland. Polish Cultural Association was a partner of one of the CH Robinson Teresian team, driving quite old but extremely charming yellow Lublin, and this team got to Gorey first, followed by Bondar team and Michlewscy Brothers team, arrived right after it, also driving the cars of the Lublin brand. In addition, we hosted in Gorey Przecinaki team. Unfortunately, the Wada Samara broke almost at the very beginning of the rally in Poland, but members of this team decided to reach the finish line in the other way, and they took the plane and they flew to Ireland.
So what you're telling me is that Gorey.PL backed the winning side in that race?
Well, of course. Well, the children in the orphans are the winners of this race, and that's the most important thing. We were very honored to host those few teams here in Gorey, and we saw it end up actually as a very nice event, as the cars were escorted by the teams of motorcycle club, and yeah, it was really nice event.
So let's turn to Culture Night, Friday the 20th of September. And I have to say, a particularly enjoyable night that was. Where did the idea for the musical street dialogue, Bridging the Cultures, come from? And tell us how it worked out.
It was an idea of Michał Gawroński, who joined us for a few months. Unfortunately, not all relations last long, and Michał is not with us anymore. But the idea of this event was brilliant. I really personally went in love with this, and in my opinion, the musical part of it on the main street, it was the best happening ever happened in Gorey on the streets.
I
anyway, I never ever saw something like that. So I'm proud of an association, and I'm really grateful to Michał to coming to us with such a...
Yes, I was actually at the event on the night itself, and just seeing the Irish music on one side and the Polish music on the other, and the link between the two of them, I think it's an absolutely wonderful idea.
The link, it was this touch that actually makes the whole difference in it. Because two bands playing opposite to each other, that will be nice, but linking them with well-known local violinist Maciej Motyka, it really brings this special touch. There was a second event on that night in Gorey School of Art that we organized, a vintage movie projectors exhibition and a free screening of very famous movie called War. Unfortunately, we had only few people on it, so we feel a bit disappointed that people didn't bother to see this great exhibition and the famous movie for free. There was even free wine and finger food. So yes, that really, I have to say that was a sour bit for us.
Well, I can say on that one, as one of the handful who were there, possibly from the Irish side, I certainly enjoyed myself. So anyone who didn't attend, I think, missed out on a very enjoyable evening, speaking personally. I know there was a recent sad event for the Polish community with the tragic death in Gorey on the 30th of October of Richard Rybczynski, and a mass was held locally in his memory.
Yes, I didn't know Mr. Richard personally, but this tragic event, and around a year ago there was another very similar tragic event with member of Polish community, shows that there is a need for a suicide prevention program, for some kind of support. And we actually start talking to our friend Joe Dixon from Cycling Against Suicide and to Polish ambassador Anna Sochańska about implementing such a support and or information campaign. And I'm very happy as Joe actually declared that we are going to work together in this initiative. And I just want to congratulate to Joe Dixon being awarded as a Volunteer of the Year by Cycling Against Suicide. That's well done, Joe. Congratulations.
Yes, I know he's someone who's very supportive of all the Gorey.PL events that take place.
Yes, Joe always support us on one way or another. If he can get his people, his friends, colleagues involved, he's doing it. If we need some support, if he can take the pictures for us, there is no problem. He's always there. Like, we can always count on him.
And I know there's much else happening in Polish community circles in Gorey apart from the activities of Gorey.PL. On that front, I know that the VOSP organisation are also active in Gorey, and that some events are planned for next January.
Yes, the WOŚP in Gorey is not our initiative, and I'm very happy that there is another group of Poles here in town willing to do something for others. There is space for much more groups like that in Gorey, really, and we were and we are supporting such initiatives, like with ourselves or with an equipment if we can. So, WOŚP guys, if you need anything, just drop us a line.
So for the benefit of Irish listeners who may not be familiar with WOŚP, can you just give us a quick summary of what typically happens in Gorey around WOŚP in terms of the fundraising?
Well, the WOŚP is a great initiative in Poland, started by Jurek Owsiak years ago. I don't remember, I think the last edition was 26. I'm not sure now, but I think it's 26. There was 26th edition last year. Basically, they're collecting money mostly to support children's hospitals, elderly people, and the hospitals with special, very expensive medical equipment.
And Gorey Library recently held an exhibition of paintings by Eamon Carter entitled Lest We Forget, Krakow 1939 to 1945. Would you like to tell us a little more about that?
Yes. As I understand, that was an initiative of Gorey Town, Gorey Council. We were just asked to support and to invite the Polish ambassador for this event, as the Eamon's pictures were very, very special, especially for us Poles, because he painted the graphics based on his experience of his visit in Auschwitz and in Krakow. And Auschwitz is a very, very special place. It's very sad, very touchy. And Eamon was able to actually express that on his arts. Miss Ambassador was really, really very impressed with them. As I remember her speech, it was touchy, and she even mentioned the poem "Funeral." I don't remember an author at the moment, but yes, that was something amazing, and I hope that we will be able to organize more. I mean, we as people in Gorey, not we, Polish community. I'm speaking on behalf of all nations now, that we will be able to organize some more events like that.
And finally, is there anything else you would like to tell us about the activities of Gorey.PL, or indeed about yourself or the Polish community in general in Gorey?
Well, no, we're planning and we're getting ready for the next festival, Polska Era Festival. As maybe people are not aware, but it takes months and months of preparations to organize the funds, to book our special guests, and basically to organize it for the few people I mentioned before that I'm so grateful that are still with me and we are still doing something together. Remember that this is not our main job. Like, we all had our volunteers, day jobs, yes. And we doing this after work. And to organize such a thing after work, trust me, it's amazing, because it's very, very time costing. It costs a lot of time, us and our families.
Jeszcze raz bardzo dziękuję für czas dzisiejszego wieczoru. Thank you so much once again for your time this evening.
Dziękuję bardzo za zaproszenie. Thank you very much for inviting me.
We look forward to keeping our listeners updated on the activities of Gorey.PL Polish Cultural Association. Dobranoc.
Dobranoc.